Welcome to SongwriterTX here in December and the final 2025 show right here at the RockBox Theater. And for those of y'all who are listening on the airwaves, welcome to SongwriterTX, where we feature Texas's best songwriters right here in downtown Fredericksburg at the RockBox Theater, which means they are also the world's best songwriters, because the best music in the world comes from Texas. So that's a hill that I will die on in this life. So that's why we do what we do, is because we truly believe that, and so we try to once a month bring you guys the best songwriters that we can conjure, and put them on the stage here to let them tell their stories and songs to you guys. So anyway, thank y'all for joining us tonight. I know it's December. It's crazy in December. There's probably 5,000 things that you could be doing right now that want your time, and here you are sitting in the RockBox. So thank you for joining us tonight. Let me tell you who we are. My name is Brent Ryan, and I get to kind of host this show along with my good friend and also fellow songwriter Boone Holding, who's sitting opposite stage of me over there. Y'all congratulate Boone with some applause for putting on clothes for us tonight. So
it was tough. It was tough.
You don't have the watch on tonight. This is the second show in a row that you forgot the watch, man.
Oh, man, I felt disappointed. I was hoping no one was going to notice, but right
I noticed.
Off the bat,
I noticed, man. You're looking very shabby over there.
Yeah.
And then we have, of course, our musical guest, the real deal here. Anna Mare is right here next to Boone. And I sort of like roped her out of what I thought was the Austin like folk scene, is she's corrected me since between now and then to basically tell me that she just lives wherever she wants to live. So, but which is very folky. So, but very excited to have her. We had her booked on the show. You may remember this. We had her booked on the show in theory about 4 or 5 months ago, and I started posting all the promo materials for her to be here, and she sends me a message on social media. She's like, "What is this show that you're advertising that I'm playing?" Because I had totally forgotten that her and I had a phone conversation where she said, "I've actually got something else going on during that time." I blanked out on that, booked her. So, but now we have her for real. So here she is. So there's Anna Mare for y'all. And then Jason Grove right here, who is a relatively new resident of Fredericksburg, at least Gillespie County, right? And we brought you, this is becoming a trend. There seems to be a fallout out of the Nashville scene of people who are like, you know what, big business, country music, cool. I think Texas is where it's at, and not only that, but I think Fredericksburg is where it's at. And boom, here you are. So, is that about right?
It's definitely in Texas for sure. Yeah.
So the cool thing about Jason, he lives here. He's friends with Bernie, and we got Timmy here. Did I get that right, Timmy? Timmy's been on the stage a couple times. He plays guitar not only for Jason, but also for Bernie, and was here for the Hope and Harmony flood relief concert as well, playing lead guitar for that also. So he's on the stage again as well. So anyway, let's hear it for Jason and Timmy.
Timmy needs over here.
All right, so and of course, I got to say thank you. We are here tonight because of Mike Starks, and Mike Starks with Remax Town and Country. The guy is the rock star of the real estate world. I was just talking about him on the airwaves earlier today, and actually looking at his website at some of the homes that he has. But 24 plus years in business in ranch, residential, commercial real estate. He follows all the trends. He's got all the data. He nerds out on that stuff, and he also looks really good in a vest. So all of those things qualify him to be your next real estate guy. So if that's something you need, check out MikeStarks.com. Also, big thanks. Obviously, 99.1 The Buck, Jam Broadcasting. Man, they've been doing this with me for a lot of years. I don't know why they keep putting up with me, but here we are. And they're back there working hard behind the board, putting this thing on the airwaves because they love Texas music. And that's what they do this for. And KK in the RockBox, and then Fbg.Live, man in the cameras here, putting us out in the digital world. Yeah. Now, I want to make one more announcement. I'm doing extra time this evening, but this is important. You might have saw when you came in a survey when you walked into the door that we handed y'all. We're looking for feedback, and this is just something we decided as a board to do. If you don't know already, I'll tell you now. The RockBox Theater is changing management at the end of this month. So KK will not be continuing with management of the RockBox Theater. But there's good news behind that. It's being managed by a former guest of SongwriterTX. So he's very pro the SongwriterTX show. It's Landon Lloyd Miller. I don't know how many of y'all know Landon Lloyd Miller. But so we are kind of currently in transition, considering how the relationship will work with the RockBox moving forward. There is not a January show booked while we figure this out, so just know that. But we'll be putting out announcements about how things are moving forward in the very, very near future. It's looking very hopeful that we will remain in the RockBox Theater, but there's all sorts of conversations happening around that right now. So that feedback form doesn't mean that any of those changes are necessarily happening. We just kind of wanted to know, we love you guys. Y'all have been very, very loyal to this show. So we want to know how you feel about SongwriterTX. What are their favorite things about it? What are you flexible about? Those kind of things. So please give us that back before you leave. Just put it on one of those tables before you go tonight. It would be very, very helpful to us. So that's my last announcement. Now, without further notice, let's get to the music. That's what we're here for, right? So let's just do a round. Why don't y'all tell these folks a little short, quick flyby of who you are and how you started writing songs, and then play a first one for us. Whichever one of you wants to go first. There's no rules here.
He said I had to go first.
Oh, this is all right. There is a rule here.
Hey y'all, my name is Anna Mare. I'm from New York originally, but I got moved all over growing up, and kind of like a military brat, but without the military. So that makes me a brat, apparently. I basically have been writing in my journal since I was a little kid. And first it was just kind of boys I was in love with and lists of them. And then it was, just journal entries and poems. And then I picked up a guitar in high school and kind of just started writing a couple little songs. But it's really been the last 3 years that I've dove in headfirst and kind of done most of my material and most of my work and growth in those last 3 years. So yeah. I was living in Houston during COVID and put everything in storage and just jumped on the road. And I just moved into a place in Austin about 3.5 weeks ago. So I got my bed back for the first time in 3 years. and I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I'm just kind of been doing... what do you call it? Raw dogging it. And I'm really stoked to be here. This is really, really nice, and it's so nice to meet all y'all.
Lovely.
And I think I'm going to start with this song called First Snow, because it is December. But it's kind of just about growing up, and I think I've started to notice I talk to a lot of my friends we're in our 30s, and we're all buying all the self-help books, they're getting stacked up. You're learning about your brain and your mind, and it's having conversations, and you're bettering yourself. And then I have this feeling that in about 10 years I'm going to look at all those books and just be like, the answers are very simple, and I didn't need to read all those. But I'm still in the learning process. And sometimes when you do all that work, you get to level up a little bit, and you get to do something the way that you really wanted to, and that's a really special moment. And this is kind of about a snapshot of going through a really difficult time, but being able to look at it with some beauty and some grace, and just moving on forwards. And so, yeah.
Love it.
Your brain, they've knocked the words outside the heart that almost was awake. Leaves fall fast like lovers, most will never know. You wobble, wince, and guilty dog, trailing me behind, face turned towards a weary path that's safer with your spine. And the sun somehow beats stronger than honest words did flow. Yes, I could have kissed you, lover. Did you notice the kind wind but it's always on the softest days that men divulge their sins. And I told you not to worry, and I didn't let my head hang low. The arrow dropped beside you, forsaken by the sinews that would not curve the bow. And I smiled with the windows down, waiting for the first snow. Yes, I could have kissed you, lover. Did you notice the kind wind? But it's always on the softest days that men divulge their sins. And I told you not to worry, and I didn't let my head hang low. The arrow dropped beside you, forsaken by the sinews that would not curve the bow. And I smiled with the windows down, waiting for the first snow.
Yeah, if we all go outside tonight and it's white out there, we'll know that Anna's got the magic. She got the magic.
I really
right
hope
there.
that happens. I
yeah,
feel so
I hope it happens too.
Right.
So. All right, man. Jeez, what he's pointing.
You'd come back next time with a song called "First $5 Million."
Right.
We were really enjoying listening to these guys sound check tonight because Anna is what you just heard, and then Jason. I mean, you can look. He's pretty cowboy, So we're gonna have some fun tonight. Plus you got the Fender guitar here, so yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun combo tonight.
Yeah, thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Heck yeah.
Well, I'm Jason Grove, and as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from New York too. So we got that in common. I was the 37th person born in my hometown in West Tennessee. So, yeah, I spent my life in about 70 miles west of Nashville, and I wrote songs for 20 years up there. And I spent 13 years as a firefighter and a medic, and I got real sick on the job one time a few years back, and I just couldn't go back to being a firefighter, so it pushed me to Texas, and I fell in love down here in Fredericksburg. So
Yeah.
not only with the town, but with a wonderful human being down here. So I'm not going back to Tennessee. I'm here for good. And my buddy Timmy Neves, he's my emotional support puppy. So y'all pet him when we're done. Just pat him in the head. I was parked at a red light one day, and there was this biker pulled up beside me, and he had a helmet. And there was a sticker on the back of the helmet, and it had the letters FAFO. And I don't know if y'all know what that means, but I didn't at the time, and it's not nice. So I had to call my buddy, and he told me what it meant, and I put a spin on it. So I called my friend Win Varble back in Nashville, and I said, "Do you want to write a cowboy song?" And so that's basically the story behind this song. So. Well, you're thinking that you wanna be a cowboy, maybe make a little for money riding bulls. Well, if you ask me, I'm telling you right now, boy, the only way you're gonna find out for sure is buck around and find out what this life is all about. Empty pockets, broken bones, lonely woman back at home. If you got what it takes, let's go. The only way you're ever gonna know, without a doubt, is buck around and find out. Well, I hope you don't mind sleeping on a bench seat, or some midnight airport waiting on a plane. You know a ton of ground round coming down on you with both back feet. It really ain't that bad if you don't mind the pain. So buck around and find out what this life is all about. Empty pockets, broken bones, dog woman back at home. If you got what it takes, let's go. The only way you're ever gonna know, without a doubt, buck around and find out. Yeah, you get tied in, you pull your hat down tight, you nod your head and hang on for dear life. And buck around and find out what this life is all about. Empty pockets, broken bones, and that woman, she's long gone. If you got what it takes, let's go. The only way you're ever gonna know, without a doubt, is buck around and find out. If you think you're pretty tough and you want it bad enough, then come on down, buck around and find out.
So is the tune called BAFO?
It's called Buck Around and Find Out.
Okay.
Gotta be careful with it.
I mean, that's a bumper sticker waiting to happen right there, you know, so. Man, Jason Grove, y'all, cool, so cool. So here's my kickoff question for y'all, because y'all both kind of have unique background stories, and you're also different genre-wise, but I would love to hear from your perspective. You're in Texas now, you're sitting here in the middle of Fredericksburg, Texas, playing a theater that's kind of an intimate listening room kind of setting, and what is it that you think Texas contributes to who you are musically now? Like, why be here now? Like, what are you looking for sort of by being in Texas, and what are sort of the strengths that's, you know, giving you to your music career?
You want to go first?
You go first.
He keeps doing that to me. All right.
There's a trend here, yeah.
Well, so I always make the joke that I feel like there's a little tiny 100-year-old Tolkien man stuck in my heart, because I a lot of times I write like from 100 years ago. I like using old medieval poetic words, and it's really fun for me. But sometimes it's, you know, a little much. I think one of the beautiful things about a lot of Texas songwriting and a lot of the you know, singer-songwriters I've been introduced to since being here has been the you know, simplicity of wording that can mean so much. You know, I think, you know, you look at, maybe not Town so much, because he was a little bit like, he did a bit more kind of intricate detailing on some things, but, you know, some of his songs are very simple, like, you know, in terms of the wordsmithing, but, you know, Guy and all those, and John and all those guys, like, they can tell a really beautiful story with very simple lines, and I think that's an art form. It's really difficult. I think it's a lot harder than writing something that feels medieval.
Yeah.
And so I've, you know, I still kind of, for me, I still write in my own style, but I do look at that a lot, and I try to look back at my things and wonder, you know, could I say this a little bit more simply, and would it mean more, be more meaningful to the people hearing it, in terms of like connecting with people because of that. So that's kind of my biggest takeaway so far.
That's a great answer. Well, I would be curious, as a performing musician around Houston, Austin, do people sometimes say like, "Oh, are you country?" Like, do you get that just being in Texas?
All my Italian New York family keep saying that. Yeah. They're like, "Yeah, because you're a country singer." I was like, "No, I'm not." I love country music, and I do cover a lot of country songs. More of the older country artists, 70s stuff, and kind of like that country rock and folk country crossover. But I love it, and I think it's wonderful. But a lot of my songwriting style very rarely crosses over into country. I think I have a couple songs very specifically, but that's kind of it. Yeah.
But like, to be fair to your Italian family in New York, like when you say Texas and then music, they're like, "Oh, country music sounds good," you know?
Yeah.
I understand.
And so much of like the Texas songwriting tradition doesn't go far outside of Texas unless you're a devout follower of like folk singer-songwriters and stuff. And so people who are really well known here and beloved don't necessarily get recognized in other places,
Right,
which is really interesting to me. It really is its own country in some ways, in that sense.
Yeah. What about you, Jay? You were just talking about throwing feed bags around earlier today, so you're living the dream.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaned over if y'all hadn't noticed. Thank you to the Byer family if they're sitting back there. I know they. Man, I just. The country music, you think of Nashville as a country music town, but there was 3 places that I worked for Alan Jackson for a year singing in his club because it was only one of 3 places in Nashville that would let me play there because I like traditional country music and the music that I write and sing. So I had to come to where they like country music and cowboy songs, and that was Texas. And that's pretty much why I'm here, is because there's not any, I don't know if y'all listen to the radio, but there's not much country music coming out of Nashville these days.
Jason, when did you start playing in Nashville? Like, around what year?
Oh, probably 2013 or so.
So was it already, like, from the time you started, you didn't feel like it was accepted already?
There was a short window there from a couple of years where I had a pretty good run with it, and then it just all changed, man. I don't know. You could feel it changing. You could feel it coming. In Nashville, it's just all about T-shirts, and it's a corporate world now. It's not about the music anymore. It's about the money. This is about the music here in Texas, and that's what I love about this place is this right here. I mean, you're sitting here listening to our songs and not drinking and being rowdy and throwing chairs off the roof and not yet anyway, right?
Well, it is true. I mean, Texas is unique in that people will ask for, like, what's your song sound like? They want to know what your original music sounds like. I think that's a value here that we really do hold dear. Now, did you know when you're coming on the show tonight that your guitar player was going to steal your guitar and leave?
He does it all the time. I don't know. A little known fact about Timmy is he sleeps standing up, and I can't figure that out. But he said somebody's got to keep it in tune. I can't do it. So.
Well, let's give him another round of music, huh? I mean, I guess it looks like Anna's going to kick it off again because she's got a guitar in her hand. So.
That was a tricky one this time.
I think it's a setup, Jason. I think it's a setup.
Well, I was going to play a darker song, but actually, speaking of country music, I'll play the closest thing I have to a country song. I have a band that I put together called Damn Sam, and it's kind of my place I get to do all my more fun, upbeat things. And we got booked at the White Horse a number of months ago, and I thought that I was getting booked as like a band doing my music, which you've just heard, but like more full spectrum. And I was like, okay, well, do you want me to do my originals, or would you like me to do upbeat covers? And he was like, well, just do all your original upbeat songs. And I was like, oh, okay. You'll notice, like, I have a shirt for sale that says I have a thing for funeral songs, because I have a lot of darker, sadder music. And anyway, so I just said okay, and then I had about 5 months, and I wrote a bunch of songs so that the band could have something to play. And a lot of our tunes came out as more like New Orleans dance tunes, because when I do upbeat, I land up somehow going that direction more. But this one did come out as a sweet kind of a ballad waltz. And I co-wrote this with a dear friend of mine out of North Carolina named Josh Moore. And it's called Dance With Me Now, and I brought him the lyrics. And I was like, I wrote my like Lucinda Williams blues song, and I was like, help me turn this into it. And he's actually the one that made it, put the country chords in. But I love it. It's one of my favorite songs to sing. So yeah, and there is actually a little tiny dance floor here. So I'm not saying you can't do it. Go feed the jukebox. I need a slow tune. I need a head for my shoulder. I need to drown out this room. I need the shadows to scatter. And these memories fade. Can you take me with you? Can we work out a trade? And I will laugh at the parties. Hold your hand through your feet. I will sing Christmas songs, even in the cities, when it always yours. I will rest on your chest. Just dance with me now. I'll take care of the rest. Go feed the gas tank. Well, I need a fast car. I need the chains to loosen. And the wind in my hair. I need the gin to breathe easy. And these memories fade. Can you take me with you? Can we work out a trade? And I will laugh at the parties. Hold your hand through your feet. I will sing New Year's songs, even in the cities, when it always yours. I will rest on your chest. Just fly with me now. I'll take care of the rest. When it always yours, I will rest on your chest. Just dance with me now. I'll take care of the rest. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Anna. That was a beautiful song.
Thank you.
All right, we got Jason Grove with a very freshly tuned guitar.
If it's not tuned, we blame it on the support puppy, the emotional support puppy.
Be sure to pet him on your way out. For a while, Timmy played steel guitar with me, and I had no idea he could even play that guitar right there. And ever since I found out he could, he hadn't played the steel since. So it's been a good deal. Huh?
That's what he keeps saying. I don't believe it.
I wrote a new song recently. It's I'm hoping I'll put it out next year sometime. But for about 20 years, I had this love affair with the Gulf Coast, all the way down to Key West. But I always kind of stopped at this one place there in Alabama, and I don't think this song is about a woman. I tell everybody just kind of, interpret it how you will, but I think it's more about the sand than it is anything. But some folks think it's about a woman, but it's not. I've been up and down the coast, from Florida to Fresno. I've earned every single mile, but I've played 1,000 shows. And I was headed westbound when my old Chevrolet, she finally turned 300,000 miles yesterday. With worn holes in both my boots, counting off the band, from county fairs to rodeos and Alabama sand. It ain't for the weary, this rambling life I lead. I've got calluses on my heart and blood on my guitar strings. And every time I go back down, she takes me by the hand, and we walk together on that Alabama sand. Oh, and I know God loves Texas, 'cause that's where I wanna be. But he sure painted quite a picture on those hills in Tennessee. And I make my way back down home every now and then, and I wind up with my toes down in the Alabama sand. My anchor couldn't hold me, but my sail's up in the wind, all the way to Matagorda, Port Aransas in the end. I feel her arms around me like a drifter only can, and I make my way along the coast to stand on that Alabama sand. Oh, and I know God loves Texas, and that's where I wanna be. But he painted quite a picture on those hills of Tennessee. And I make my way back down home every now and then, just to wind up with my toes down in the Alabama sand. Yes, I wind up with my toes down in that Alabama sand. Thank you so much.
That song's about sand.
It's about sand.
Yeah, I feel
That's
that.
exactly
I
what
can see it.
What's the town?
Orange Beach, the Floribama.
Okay.
That, you ever been there?
Once I drove through.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty much where I hung out for a while.
Cool.
So Anna, I guess paint us a little picture about growing up from the time you remember in Long Island. What is it like growing up in Long Island?
I have absolutely no memory of it.
So you left before you?
I left before.
Do you go back?
I've only been back. So I was born on Long Island. My mother and I were staying with my aunt and uncle who lived there, and then before I was 3, we'd already lived in like 4 different places.
Wow.
And so I have memories of my mother's like number 8 out of 9 children in like a big Irish Italian family. They all have the Long Island accents. It's like, and food is the most important thing in our world. My first memory is at my great grandfather's like birthday party at an Italian restaurant in New York. But we moved all over, though every summer we'd come back to New York. And so I spent all of my summers until I was probably 16 coming back to the city. But we never went to Long Island. We go to Manhattan, and then we go upstate, and then we go upstate, which is like the 5-hour drive to the Adirondacks, and spend a lot of time up there. And I loved it very much.
So growing up, do you have a place that you familiarized as home, like that you stayed the longest amount of time in, or?
So I was doing the math the other day. I don't think I lived in the same home for more than 2 years after I was like 8 years old. And so I've been in one house every year pretty much since then, or less. And so that place in upstate New York, up in the Adirondacks, my grandmother and grandfather's house, is the closest thing I think I had to like a home base. And that was, my family were always there, my cousins and I would always hang out. And so that was a really beautiful thing that I was able to have and come back to. No matter where we were, we always came back to that home. And then we lived in New Orleans a couple times when I was a little kid, and then I moved back a couple times as an adult. So collectively, that's the longest I've
That's
lived
where
anywhere.
your upbeat songs come from.
That's where my upbeat songs come from. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So do you think that that upbringing of moving around had influence on what you do now?
Yeah, I think it did. I think that everybody's lives are, we all look at the different things as, courageous or difficult based on what we're used to, right? And so for me, moving around is a really easy thing to do. Staying put is terrifying, right? Because then you have to like deal with your problems. And if you get in a fight with somebody, you have to like go talk to them or see them in the store.
They learn where you live.
Yeah.
They start ringing your doorbell
right
early. You're like,
yeah.
what are you doing? Problems?
Yeah.
It's too early for this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I wasn't used to that. Like conflict resolution was not in my bank until I was an adult. I never had to deal with it. And so when I decided to do music full time, I realized that I didn't, I hadn't really done any of it, and so I needed to research how to treat it like a real job and a business, and I needed to practice and write and then get up on stage and just keep getting up on stage until I felt comfortable and got better. And I couldn't do that staying put anyway, so I kind of just started traveling and doing it. And because I was used to doing that, I think it was an easy decision for me, whereas for somebody else it might have been really a lot more scary. So I have a lot of people that sometimes come up to me and they'll be like, oh, that was really courageous. I'm like, no, that was the easy part.
Yeah.
I was like, getting an apartment in Austin and saying I'm going to be there is hard.
Right. Now perspective is everything in life. That's crazy.
Totally.
No, that's cool. That's a little insight into. And Jason, what was it like growing up in New York for you?
Oh, man. Tough, yeah.
No, Jason, I noticed this when I first met you, because you grew, and I didn't know you grew up in a small town, but your traditional country sound, but you have the poet tattoo on your hand, and man, that was it was. I don't think it is contradicting, but like it could seem that way. It's like you don't see many people in the like 80s and 90s country, and then you have this poet tattooed on your hand. So just, where'd it come from? Where'd you get it?
I've literally, since I could walk, I guess I've wrote poems. That's kind of been my thing for years. And then some friends started calling me the poet around home, and everybody asks, what does poet mean? And I usually just go, it means plain old everyday trash is what I usually tell them. I mean, if you don't know what poet means, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
One of those things, man. one of those bad decisions that I've made, putting a tattoo on my hand right there.
Man, I kind of like it, man. Honestly, it really.
You could have it if you can get it off.
Yeah, I was gonna steal it. Well, I was gonna steal it from you, but
Yeah.
since you're gonna give it to me, I like it, man. And I think it says something a little deeper about you. And it was, it sort of just as a fan of music, I like your music, I like your sound. It's obvious, but maybe want to dive a little deeper, to be honest, because I just felt like there was a little bit more in that, like there's I think for a country, and like you said earlier, Anna, is like good country artists can make a song seem very basic and very easy, right? And so it comes off like that, like it's very basic and easy, but it's very challenging to do that, first of all. And second of all, though, just because it comes off that way doesn't mean that person is simple or easy either. They're a detailed person. And when I see that tattoo right there, I see detail and character within your soul somewhere. And so it's just fascinating to me,
You need to get some glasses, Boone. Just bad decisions and alcohol, man.
Yeah,
That's all
well, I also have trouble
I'm-
reading, too.
I thought you were going to say, like, I just woke up with it. I don't know where it came from.
Is that the only tattoo you have, or you have more?
Oh, you're getting too deep. You're in dangerous territory, dude.
No, actually, I'm going right where I need to here. Yeah?
I got way too many, man. I just try to keep them. For the longest time when I met Jody, I tried to hide all this from her parents.
Oh yeah, man, you got the real deal there. Man.
And I finally just gave up, and I was like, well, they either like me or they don't. So
Just play them a song, man. That'll typically do it, No, but I like it, man, and I'm everyday trash too, so maybe that's why I liked it. Oh, y'all can give us one, but I appreciate that insight into y'all. It's fun.
All right,
who's you gonna go first, Jason?
You're gonna change. You gonna change the deal?
Well, okay, so we're just doing. So I have to go first. Okay. I'm just kidding. I'm either way. You want to go? You want to go first this time?
Oh, we starting over?
That's why they're making it sound.
Starting over.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, I'll go. If you don't want me, I don't mind going. Caught me off guard.
I know. I was just trying to confuse.
I know. Oh yeah. So see why
That's
I got
why
Timmy
Timmy's
with
here,
you.
man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So really, most of my life I've been influenced by guys like James Taylor and Jimmy Buffett and Merle Haggard. And now I'm influenced by guys like Timmy Neves and Boone and these guys and you. And these are great people that I've met since I've been in Texas. And but all I ever really wanted to do was write a song that Jimmy Buffett would cut. That's the truth. And it never happened because Jimmy checked out on us. So I went back and I changed it. I remember one time he was playing at the station in Nashville, and everybody said you got to pitch your songs to these artists, and I'm an idiot. I don't know what that means. So I just wadded up a piece of paper and I threw a song at Jimmy Buffett, and they kicked me out of the station and said, "Don't ever come back here. That's not how you do this." So when Jimmy passed away, I wrote this song as a tribute to Jimmy Buffett. I don't know if any of y'all are parrot heads, but
But there's at least a couple out there, I would guess.
well, there must be an island in heaven, 'cause where else would he go? The steel drum rings out an angel song that only the parrot heads know. A flip-flop hanging high on the mast, where the captain hauled in the lines. Cinnamon rum and the smell of the sea, and a poet who ran out of time. So who's gonna get us through winter? Who's left driving the boat? And who's gonna bring the salt and the lime and tell all the stories that he wrote? Is the party all over? Is it said and done? And who's gonna answer the call? Now that he's walking the plank on a ship named Heaven, I think God might be a pirate after all. could be gone in the blink of an eye. Maybe stay in your heart for eternity, to make you laugh or even cry. Losing yourself by the edge of the sea and wondering where it all ends, or wasted away in the sand every day, just watching the ships rolling in. So who's gonna get us through winter? And who's left driving the boat? And who's gonna bring the salt and the lime and tell all the stories that he wrote? Is the party all over? Is it said and done? And who's gonna answer the call now that he's walking the plank on a ship named Heaven? I thank God might be a pirate after all. Yesterday is over our shoulder, so no more looking that way. Keep one step ahead of the jailer. Yeah, that's why Jimmy would say. So who's gonna get us through summer? Who's left driving the boat? Who's gonna bring the salt and the lime and tell all the stories that he wrote? Is the party all over? Is it said and done? And who's left driving the boat now that he's walking the plank on a ship named Heaven? Thanking God might be a pirate after all. Yeah, I think God just might be a parrot head after all.
Now, Timmy, there was at least 4 licks in that song, so you're
Yeah.
lying about the
Did you
3
hear
licks
that?
part. Yeah.
I heard it too. I heard it too.
I got you. That was a cool tune, man. You could always pitch it to AI, Jimmy Buffett. You might still be able to get a cut there, you know?
If you got any connections, let me know.
All the possibilities, man, all the possibilities. So we switched orders, so you still have a song, right, Anna? You
I
got
do.
one. Okay, yeah, there we go.
I got to see Jimmy Buffett at Jazz Fest about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was a Jimmy Buffett fan until I went to a live show, and it was one of my favorite live shows I've ever seen. Everybody was just it's the most joyful group of people I've ever seen in my life. Everybody was just so happy, and you just couldn't help but like break into smile the entire time.
Love it.
It was great.
Love it.
I was gonna do a song, and then you started talking about home and kind of what that's like, and I decided I have a song about that I co-wrote with a gentleman out of Austin named Terry Klein, who I love him, and I love his songwriting, and he's been a really supportive person for me since I got to Austin, and so we kind of talked about this, you know, me coming from kind of a world of different homes, and what does it mean to be at home, and how do you define it? When do you know that feeling is what it is if you've never had it, you know? And for him, he grew up in a multi-religious household, so he was kind of getting pulled from different directions as you know, what is spirituality for him? What is God? What are these things? So we wrote this together from 2 different perspectives, and it was really fun because I dug into a lot of research. I like to read a lot about people who have been grown up like me. There's even a term for us. We're called third culture kids. And there's like all these studies on us, and it's like, you are prone to this, and I'm like, you don't know me, but it's literally a list of everything that I am.
You don't know me, but maybe you do.
Maybe you do. And so I got to kind of read into some of those, and we pulled some of that information in lines and people's definitions and kind of threw this in. So the song is called "The Beating Heart of Nowhere." Oh, there it is. Thanks. They say country begins with your mother and father, but I'm not so sure about that. You can lay on a that it was built to last. Into the beating heart of nowhere I find there's nobody home, and if I could head into the beating heart of somewhere where I can know and be known, that's home. Like the bitter wind move through the dunes to the sea, so we migrate through stations and dives with the blood of the nomads from antiquity. We forsake any scent of goodbye. Into the beating heart of nowhere I find there's nobody home, and if I could head into the beating heart of somewhere where I can know and be known, that's home. That's home. That's home. That's home. That's home.
I love it.
Thank you.
I hear a little bit more of the Celtic influence in songwriting.
I love that stuff.
Very cool. Well, let's do one more round before we give these folks a break. Everybody gets to where they're either thirsty or they need to do what thirst creates. So we'll give them a break here in just a moment. But let's do one more round real quick. As a kind of a quick curveball question at you. I guess we're going in this order now. So this is going to be. Well, I don't know what y'all are going to do. It's whatever, you know.
Why do we confuse ourselves?
I don't know.
I
There's
don't
no
know why.
reason.
It's a habit.
But talk about collaboration a little bit. Y'all both have talked about co-writing with artists. I'm curious what the percentage is of how often you sit down and pen a tune, you know, just by yourself in a living room or your car, and or how often are you kind of aiming for somebody and saying like, hey, so and so, I'd like to sit down and write a tune with you, and how does collaboration? What kind of energy does that give you as a songwriter, or take from you as a songwriter?
Okay, let's see. So I love co-writing. It's not something I get to do as often as I'd like. Musicians are known for being a little ADHD and wrangling another one in to sit down with you for a period of time and get it done. I think unless you're in Nashville, it's not as common. I think there's a lot of songwriters who don't want to collaborate, who want to it's a really emotional, personal space when you're writing, and everybody's process goes at a different speed. And for some people, it's a really scary thing to open up and kind of open up your brain and everything that's in here and just put it out at a platter in front of another artist, usually who you respect very much, because that's why you're sitting down together. And but you're bringing two balls of talent into one room versus one, and so I think you can create so much more magic sometimes by putting down your ego for a second and opening up that space to think that somebody might have something even cooler than what you think you are. but it's hard. It's not always easy, and like sometimes you get really precious about like a word or a line or this thing, or somebody's really excited about something and you're like, I don't think that's very good, like, you know, and so you're trying to figure out how to balance that out. But I think it's a really important thing for us as songwriters to do, because I think it's important for us as kind of individuals to open up our space to others. I think it's important for our ego. I think it's really important for community too, because it's this job is actually, you know, for how much we're surrounded by other musicians, it's a very lonely job in a lot of ways. Like, we're alone a lot. You know, everybody might be doing the same thing, but our journeys are completely different. So you can only kind of come together in these moments, and then you're out by yourself again. And that's like that can be a really special way of like creating something with somebody and not feeling like you're completely alone doing it. So I think I don't think it gets enough credit for that sometimes if you're writing with the right people. So, yeah.
Nice insight.
Well, one of the things, and before I pitch the question to you, Jason, like, I think songwriting, especially music, is unique in this. I was interviewing Mike Blakely on radio earlier this week, and we were talking about this because he's also, in addition to being a songwriter, he's also a novelist. And it's not unheard of, but it is not common for novelists to say, hey, Boone, would you like to write a novel with me? And you know, oil painters don't sit together with other oil painters and say, like, hey, I can't get this mountain just right. Will you finish my mountain for me? Yeah. You know, it's very unique to songwriting, and I suspect that it's probably evolved mostly out of the business culture of music, because when royalties were in the picture, songwriting credits kind of became an important thing. But I'm not saying that as a negative. I think it's just a unique journey. I wonder how that makes the art of songwriting have a different energy than maybe other types of arts. And maybe, Jason, you could speak to that a little bit, because you probably kind of know the business on that side of things a bit, you know?
I spent I probably 98% of everything that I've ever written, I've written by myself. And not because I was, not because of an ego or because I didn't want to. It was because I'm painfully shy. But my whole life I've been that way. I've just been that shy kid. It's hard for me to meet new people, and I'm always intimidated by other writers. And then when I did get to where someone believed in me enough to let me get in that room with them and write with them, there was one stands out in particular. He's a hit writer in Nashville, and he said, you know, I was sitting there with my head down as we were writing this song. It was an idea that I had, and he said, Jason, you wouldn't be here if I didn't think you belonged here, because I don't do this for a hobby. This is what I do for a living. And that kind of changed the way I looked at things. And I was like, okay, so maybe I do deserve to be in the room with them. But like I said, 98% of the songs I wrote were by myself, and that was just because I'm just a shy person. I wish I was more outgoing like you are and could do that.
To be fair, I will say, most of my songs are on my own too, just because it's easier to follow this line and stuff, and it's really scary. I ask people all the time, but I'm terrified when I do, you know. And most of the time it doesn't work out, but every once in a while it does, and something beautiful happens. But yeah, I don't think as many, and I do say, when I brought up, I guess, the ego thing, I want to make sure that's not like all songwriters or anything like that. And I think you have a really good point to add to that. It's a really scary thing to do. It is. Yeah.
It is very scary.
Well, I've not ever done it, so.
Yeah, I'm nervous thinking about it over here.
Jason, do you want to co-write with me?
Hey. Yeah. Broke right out of her shell right over there. Right?
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Now Jason's scared. Well, y'all do one more round for our folks here, and then we'll give everybody a break, including you guys, and we'll be back about 10, 15 minutes after a break. Y'all can freshen yourselves up and all that stuff, but let's hear one more.
Thank y'all for being here tonight, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And for our listeners out there on 99.1 The Buck, thank you for listening as well. We appreciate y'all.
I was going to play one that I wrote by myself, and then you started talking about co-writes, so I'll play you one that I co-wrote with a guy, Bernie. Y'all know Bernie. I was in a music store over in Boone, Texas, not long after not really when I first got here, and we were talking to a guy named Dickie Kaiser. He's another songwriter, and the guy said, Dickie said to me, he said, they're closed on Monday, but for some reason I heard him say closing on they're closing on Monday, and it was like God stuck me in the back with a hot knife. He said, listen to that. And literally within 15 seconds, I had this picture of this guy that they were closing on his house on Monday, and he had lost everything he had, and it's just a sad story, you know. And Dickie said, yeah, can we write that? And I was like, yeah. So we got back over here to Fredericksburg, and me and Bernie had it wrote in about 30 minutes, and made Dickie really mad because he wanted to be in it.
That's what he gets for talking.
Am I in too? Okay. So this song's called Closing on Monday. It's one of the handful of co-writes that I have. She put the for sale sign from the front yard in the trunk of her Mercedes-Benz. Said you can leave the keys on the counter. If you want, you can just mail them in. He walked back in that house, one last look around, locked the door and just walked away. Said, I miss this place. They're closing on Monday. Yeah, you know he and Miss June bought the house brand new back before there was an interstate. They raised 3 little girls, all pigtailed and curled, lots of love and birthday cakes. Now he's sitting out there, got his truck in gear, but he can't take his foot off the brake. Said goodbye, old friend. They're closing on Monday. Closing on Monday. But once all the love was gone, it didn't make any sense for him to stay. He rolled his window down halfway out of town, took a left at the old feed store. Then he made his way through a garden of stone like he'd done 100 times before. Laid his flowers on the grave, said, how you doing, babe? I'm not sure when I'll be back this way. God, I miss this place. But I guess you already know they're closing on Monday. Yeah, they're closing on Monday. She put the for sale sign from the front yard in the trunk of her Mercedes-Benz. Thank you.
All right, you get to close out the first half there.
All right. You read that in 30 minutes? I'm gonna do this song. I don't really have a title for it yet, so I've been calling it Oak Song. Somewhere I was reading something that said it was something about how like you're either born as like a softer tree, like a willow or something, or you're born like an oak tree, which is all just tough and strong. And I've been listening to a lot of Natalie Merchant, and I don't know if anybody here listens to her, but she's got this really beautiful album of old American folk songs, mostly on the darker side. And she's got this cover of Whose Side Are You On?, which is an old, it's a 1920s Union song, which was written by the wife of one of the guys in the Union who was going out to march. And I only learned that it was written by her recently, but that song was just rolling around in my head over and over again. And I decided to kind of make my own version of that, but I wanted to write it for, I'm not working in a coal mine, but I am a woman, and I think we have a lot to talk about. And so I kind of wrote this for women, and how I just believe that, there's a lot going on all the time that we have to fight. And I think that if we kind of stick together, everything gets a little better. So it's kind of just about that. And yeah, for now it's Oak Song. But if you have a better title, come up and let me know.
All right, so I'll take a quick break. When we get back after the break, Anna Lamar is going to be wearing a cowboy hat and singing her best honky-tonk tunes, and Jason's going to do some mountain yodeling. So come on back after and get yourself a good drink, and we'll see you here in just a few.